Alright. And start streaming. Start the live event. And it looks like we may be good. Welcome back to another Water Change Wednesday here on the YouTube channel. It looks like we're good to go. I apologize if the intro is a little weird. I'm like my Instagram, so we're live streaming on Instagram right now, and it's saying checking connection. It was working fine, and now all of a sudden it's not. So I don't know. If you're joining us on Instagram, I apologize. Hopefully you came over here, and yeah. So welcome back, guys. Before anybody asks, yes, it is a new haircut. I cut my hair, and I just got tired of the long hair. I've been actually trying to get a decent, like, styling of my hair for quite some time, probably for, like, the last maybe, like, 3 months. But the barber that I used to go to told me that they can't cut long hair, or they don't know how to, so I was like, okay, well, I don't want you to just shave it all off. I actually want it styled. And then I went to another barber, and they couldn't really do a good job, so I finally found a really good barber, and I really like it, and they did a good job, except the rain today messed it up a little bit. So it is messed up a bit, and I'm gonna try and get Instagram working here one more time. I'm gonna do one of these. I'm gonna completely exit out of Instagram, and we are going to go back in and try this. Let's see. Hopefully it works. Anyway, if y'all are watching it live, can you just drop some comments? Let me know that the stream is good. We've had some technical difficulties the last couple times, so I just want to make sure that everything is working. It looks like we're live. It looks like there's 24 of you here, so welcome, welcome, welcome. This week, actually, you guys can't see it. I'll turn the camera slightly. And all those boxes right there on the table are this week's shipment. They came in, typically they come in on a Wednesday. We don't put them away until Thursday just because, whatchamacallit, because nobody works on a Wednesday except for me. So, they were overnighted to us. So typically I've ordered plants and they'll spend 2 or 3 days in transit. Those have only been in a box a day, so I'm not worried about them. But there's tons of pond plants there. So we're going to be doing, we'll have that unboxing up in maybe like 2 weeks. But if you're looking for pond plants, because I know like May is coming up, and May's like the time where everybody's doing their ponds and stuff, you'll want to check the website out by Friday. All of them will be on the website, so you want to check those out. But today's live stream is actually about air plants, which is different than pond plants, but can be used in an aquarium-esque setup. So what are air plants? So air plants are a type of ephidite plant, similar to like a bromeliad or an orchid, where essentially they don't need substrate to be planted, right? So bromeliads and orchids, sometimes you'll use like a mixture of like bark and sometimes some sphagnum moss and a couple other things, but it's not soil. It's just different things that, like, you gotta think about these plants in the wild. They kind of anchor into trees and rocks and crevices, wherever they can get a hold of. And air plants are similar to that, but I like air plants because they're super easy. They don't require really any care, and they'll do just great for like an aquarium type setup where you have something outside of the water. So if anybody's seen my video on our tank upstairs, that is that's a giant dragonstone statue, I put air plants in that, little tiny air plants in the little crevices of dragonstone, and they've been growing great. As a matter of fact, I really haven't done anything to them, and they've been working great. That's the humidity from the tank that's evaporating that they absorb. So I'm gonna try and get Instagram up here one last time, but air plants are pretty easy in that aspect, so that's why I wanted to kind of touch on them today. A lot of people don't know what they are or haven't had experience with them, but we do have a whole section on the website now for air plants that you could go and check out. Just to grab a few here, they range in different shapes and sizes and everything. So this is a rather large one. This is, oh, my phone fell. This is Shadina, I'm gonna say it is, but it's a rather big one. And so I want to talk about what like makes a air plant an air plant, right? So it doesn't need substrate, right? We went over that. It doesn't really have a root structure. Now, it does have a little root here. But that's to just keep it anchored wherever it's going to be. It doesn't essentially do anything. The way this plant absorbs nutrients and water and moisture is through its leaves. It has these things called trichomes, and it's like it's kind of looks like a dusting, almost like a white dusting, but they're essentially little tiny hairs that allow the plant to absorb moisture through the atmosphere and absorb nutrients from dust particles in the atmosphere and get absorbed for the plant to use. So they're really interesting that you really, I mean, you can fertilize these like once a month. You can mist them. But if you have like an aquarium with like, I don't know, you have stone that's sticking out of the tank, or wood, or just like anything else that may have like a dryer type of thing with it, you could put these in there. Now, they don't want to be completely submerged in water or even just wet in water. You need them dry, so you want to put them in a dry location. But if you have some sort of weird setup where you have like a paludarium or something, these make excellent plants for that. So they have also different colors to them. This one, I don't know how well it's going to show on camera. Actually, yeah, you can see that. The center of it's red. It also has this white, this green, and some red tips also here at the end. And they can range in a variety of different shades of green. I have like this one that's green, but because it has so much, it has like a lot more hairs to absorb water, or trichomes. It looks almost like a pale green, or almost gray, so it's not like a dark green. So yeah, so this is you know, they're really cool plants. Now they do flower, and once they flower, they will actually start to die. And the reason for that is what they actually do once they flower, they put up pups. So you'll actually get offshoots, which I don't know if I have any in here. Let me see. I got this whole big tray of these things. Let's see. So this guy is kind of like putting up pups. I don't think it might be. So like it has branches. I don't know if, let's see. You can see like there's a separate stem there. I don't know if that's an actual pup. I think that's actually just another branch of the plant itself. But it's similar to that, or it'll like send out a bud from the bottom that'll create another plant. But there's all sorts of different like leaf shapes and sizes. Like this is one of the prettiest ones that I have, I think, like because it's just a bright. Let's see if I can get it, like a bright red. Even though my hands are like showing up as orange, but they're bright red, and it's just like a really nice plant. Then you also have, you know, like awesome green ones like this, and I have ones that have less of the trichomes, so they're not as hairy looking. So these, the whole like trichome on this is a lot shorter and a lot less noticeable. So you have different kinds of air plants, and they're just really cool, and they make a nice accent for your aquarium. All different shapes and sizes. So that's why, like, I have them. I've had good experience with them. I figured, you know what, I'd like to offer them for people that would want to buy them. Why won't my phone stay up? And I thought it would just make sense, because you can use them for an aquarium-like setup. So, Kevin's in the chat. What's up, Kevin? So yeah, so I'm curious to know if anybody's ever had airplanes. What's your experience with them? I think that's pretty much the general care. They don't need a whole lot of light. They do like to be in a sunny environment, but not direct sun. So you could put them under like an aquarium light, maybe in a little bit of a shaded area, so off to the side, not directly under the light. If you're just using them as like a house plant, you could stick them in like, you know, if this was empty, you could just like, I've seen people put them in like little tiny pitcher, like mason jars, or glassware like wine vases and stuff like that. They also have a whole wide variety of holders for them. So yeah, let's see here. We'll go to the chat now. If anybody has direct air plant questions, feel free to ask, but I think that's about it. Part shade, Talking about water. I forgot to about watering them. You want to dunk them in water. What are you doing? I don't know why Walter's acting scared. Anyway, you want to dunk them in water about once a week or so, depending on where they're being kept. And there's a mosquito. Sorry. There was a mosquito. I apologize. So soak them in water, and the way you soak them in water is you actually kind of, you want to take a thing of water. Hopefully that didn't mess up the thing. Okay, there we go. So you take them, take a bowl of water, dip them in take them by their root or the bottom of the plant, and dunk them in upside down. Let them soak for about 10 minutes. You want to shake them off to get the excess water off of it, and then they're good to go. You want to let them like kind of dry off though. You don't want to immediately put them like in a container of some sort, because that moisture is going to be locked in and it could actually cause rotting. So you want to kind of make sure that they're relatively dry, and then you can put them back where they were. So that's how you water them. You can mist them a couple days with every couple days with a mister if you wanted to. Fertilizing, you don't need anything too powerful. You could use orchid formula. You could use bromeliad formula, and you would want to use it at about a quarter strength. They don't like a tremendous amount of fertilizer. A little bit of fertilizer is fine. You could dip them in your aquarium if you want to. And that would give you, the nutrients that are in your aquarium. They'll absorb it through that. Just make sure you don't have high copper traces in the water that you're using. They don't like copper. And that's really it. And they're pretty easy. So, yeah. What's going on, everybody? Ethan, VNV, Madfish, Mosquito. Damn you. Maritza, wow, loving the new hairstyle. Thank you. I was just in South Florida and was loving the air plants. Air plants are great, I'm telling you. They're fantastic plants. They make, like you could use them in your aquarium, or you could place them anywhere around your house, like anywhere. That's the beautiful thing about them. They don't need substrate. They don't need anything. You could just put them in whatever you want, and there you go. Just make sure they're kept dry. Quick question, are valves light sensitive? In one of my tanks, it is fine. Move it to another tank and it melts. Well, valves are just sensitive in general to new conditions. When you take them out of whatever environment they're growing in, you put them in another tank, regardless of if it's the same light setup, it could just be like a difference in, like, say, I don't know, like iron concentration in the water. For some reason, one tank may have slightly more iron. And the plant doesn't like that, so it starts melting back a lot. All aquarium plants do this. They all melt their existing growth of wherever they were grown and grow new growth. But it is more common in valves, and crypts experience a similar thing also. Thought you had an electrical accident. No, nope, this is on purpose. Oh, did I mention it last week? I think I did. Or was it this week that I did it? I booked ReefaPalooza. So ReefaPalooza, for those of you that don't know, is June 23rd, I believe it is, here in Secaucus, New Jersey, at the Meadowlands. Right? It's Meadowlands? Yeah, Meadowlands Expo Center. And I'm just confirming the date. I believe it's the 23rd and 24th. That's a Saturday and Sunday in June. Yeah, 23rd and 24th. It's going to be awesome. It was awesome last year. There was a lot of reef stuff, but there was like some freshwater. But we're going to have a booth. We're going to have an amazing booth at that. We're going to have tons of plants, tons of hardscapes. We're even going to have full tank builds for sale. Kevin's coming over. We're going to be doing some scapes for it's almost going to be like a studio. You're going to be able to walk around the booth and see all these tanks set up. And we're going to be selling the tank itself with everything in it if you are interested. But regardless, you could come hang out. We may be live streaming it on Facebook or Instagram, wherever, or maybe I'll do like a walk around. That's what I did last year. I didn't have a booth last year, so this is my first event for aquatics, and there's actually more freshwater this year than there was last year. I see a couple other companies that I know of that are going to be there, so it's going to be really cool, I think. So I think if you're in the tri-state area or can afford to fly or drive or whatever you need to do, head on over there. I also booked Aquatic Experience, which is in October, and this mosquito is going to die. I don't know where it went, but it needs to die. So we'll also be at Aquatic Experience. That's October, I want to say 19th and 20th and 21st. I think it's like the third week in October. We'll be vending there too, but we'll I think it's like 535 is our booth number for that one. But for ReefaPalooza, it's 706. It's literally like when you walk in the front door, you go all the way to the right, which is literally like right there. It's like one row over, and we're going to be, I think it's either the second or third booth, so you won't miss it. It's going to be planted tanks standing out from a bunch of reef tanks, so it shouldn't be too hard to spot. And I will be there most of the time, as well as Jake and Amanda should be there also. Let's see. Anubis or Boost? I would say I like Boost. It's more versatile. It's just more expensive, so it depends. Maritza says, I'm a barber, and they did a pretty good job. Thank you. It was actually, the haircut was, like, the longest one that I've ever had. Literally, the guy was, like, using the razor for, like, I don't know, like a half hour just to, like, fade it correctly. I'm like, damn, like, this guy is going in, like, making sure, like, it's all even and stuff. And, I mean, usually it's, like, a 20-minute haircut in general, and I'm out of there. And, like, this guy spent 20 minutes alone just making sure it was faded properly. So I was like, all right. It was more expensive than the regular places that I go to, but it was well worth it. And I just realized I'm getting that whole whiteout thing again going on here. Also, this tank right here, I think is leaking. I walked down here and there was a little water, so I don't know if it's sprung a leak, so I gotta keep an eye on it. If it is, it's a very slow leak, so hopefully it's okay. Let's see. Rose says we're missing Baby Nova. I know. I gotta get her on more videos and more live streams. When she's a little older, she'll join us. It's just tough because, you know, the baby, she wants to cry if she's unhappy. So. What's up, what is it, 210 Steel, or Stee? When will pond plans be on the website? So, tomorrow night we're going to unbox them. And then as soon as we unbox them, I got to take pictures of the new ones. Because literally, I want to say there's probably about 25, 30 different species of pond plants that I got. And I only got like 3 or 4 of each, just because I'm not sure what people are going to really want. So, you know, you want to really like watch the website. As soon as it's uploaded, I'll post it on Instagram and Facebook. So if you're following us there, you'll get, you know, the notification either on the story or their Facebook. I'll also probably send out an email Friday morning with the newsletter saying that the pond plants are in stock, because there's a bunch of them. Some of which I even have to see if we're going to be able to ship, because I got this big long box that's like 3 or 4 feet long. And I'm hoping that it's not a 4-foot long pond plant, because that's not going to work. I'm not going to be able to put that in a box. So if that's the case, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I may just have to find somebody local that wants it. So. Scottish says, what's up, Justin? Just got my plants today. Good luck, brother. Thank you. I'm not going to be the one to go bad on this conversation. I don't know what that means. Hit that like button, or hit that like button, folks. Thank you, Scottish. I appreciate it. Love air plants. Where do they grow naturally? So air plants, I'm not familiar with where they are initially from. Let's see. Where do they originate from? Air plants. They're called a Tillandsia. I think it's Tillandsia. I butcher names all the time. Come from. Let's see. I think they're all over the place. Yeah, they say there's 650 species, and they're from northern Mexico, southeastern United States. So typically, I guess, if you think about like dry regions that do have, I guess, enough rainfall for, you know, trees, because they grow out of the sides of trees, that's probably where they're most located. Can air plants live outside? Will rain hurt them? So, they can live outside. They can't withstand, I don't think they can withstand like freezing temperatures, but like your average like house plant that you put outside, like say during the spring, winter, or spring, summer, and fall, can do fine, but you don't want to put them in full shade. You want full sun. You want to put them in shade, so that way they're not being cooked, because they are heat tolerant, so they can't get, you know, direct light. So put them in a shady spot, but somewhere that will still get enough light, and then just make sure that they're not like, you know, you don't want to put them in a container somewhere where it's going to rain and that container will fill up with water. So if you have something like you can hang them from, like any sort of like chains, maybe like make something that they could work there, or put them on something that, you know, maybe is like sloped that the water will run off, and yeah, that'd probably be the best bet. But I don't think they could survive during the winter, being that they come from like Mexico and these other places, depending on your region. Let's see. They could survive down to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, it looks like. But there are some that will tolerate 14 degrees, so they could get pretty cold, I guess, but it depends on the species, so just keep that in mind. But they make for great houseplants. Like, honestly, I think there's more plants that you could put outside that would be cooler, unless you want to do this. Like, Spanish moss is a nice one for outside. It looks really cool, and that's a type of air plant. Right? Spanish moss? Yeah, Spanish moss is the name. So, yeah. Whoa, a Teen Wolf circa 1985. Thanks, Kevin. Xavier, or Clemente Chavan, I guess is how you would pronounce that. You so beautiful, man. I'll be ordering from you soon, bro. I hope all is well. Thank you, Xavier. The ones I have are much smaller. Yeah, pond plants are, air plants. That's what we're talking about. Air plants are, they range in size. Like, I have, upstairs I have mostly smaller ones. So these are quite large compared to what I'm used to, but, like, they would make excellent plants. Like, I even have one on the filter of this tank. Like, it's just on top of it, up there, which you really can't see, but it's up there. I have to, like, I keep checking on that leak to see if it's leaking again. Had some 20 years ago and killed them all. Strange. Well, I'm curious to what you did with them, Jeff. Have you started selling pothos yet? Not yet, but I mean, if you need some, Xavier, I have trimmings. But I do have a vendor for houseplants that I found. I haven't decided if I want to do that just yet, but I can order succulents, I could order cacti, I can order, there's a big bug flying around, I just saw it in the camera. I could order those, I could order pothos, a bunch of house plants that are easy, like the ZZ plant, the snake plant, stuff like that. Rhododendrons, philodendrons, right? Philodendrons, yeah, philodendrons. So I don't know. I'm lacking space, so it would have to be one that we put on the new table here. That's the whole reason why we built this out, for more space. But my initial idea was to use this for aquarium plants, but I think we have enough space once we set up the rest of the 75 gallons that we're setting up over there on the other side of the room. I think we have enough space for aquarium plants. Like, I don't see using this table going to bring us in that much more money, mainly because, like, this is going to have to be immersed setups if I do grow them out, because I'd want to grow out rare stuff here. So I was thinking, you know, using, it's a 11 by, I don't know, almost 4 feet long table. 11 feet by 4 feet, so what is that, 44 square feet? So it gives me, you know, 44 square feet roughly of houseplant space, so I was considering doing it there, but I learned that the hard way. Watched quite a few rot away before I learned that. Yeah, the air plants aren't that hard. You just gotta, less is more with them, honestly. Like, you don't need to water them often. People say you gotta water them once a week. I have ones upstairs that I haven't watered in months, and they're still doing fine, and that's just because they're by a fish tank with humidity. So as long as you have decent humidity in your house, you may not even have to water them. So I always kill air plants, Jenny says. Well, I mean, we've all killed plants just in general. It's just you got to try and try until you eventually get the hang of it. Like, I've killed plenty of plants, both aquarium and house plants, and but I do have plenty of house plants that are still alive and plenty of aquarium plants that are still alive. So you gotta try different ones. And usually less is more. Like, a lot of the easy plants that you're gonna find at like your local like hardware store or anything like that, they're gonna be relatively easy. And this thing keeps like, I'm gonna push this light. I can't push this light. Can I push it like that? Ah, that's better, I think. It's still like giving me like a weird white balance. I don't know. So yeah, just, I mean, try different plants. The house plants are easy. Air plants are easy. Less is more. Don't overwater them. They'll be fine. Is there any downside to using a half dose of pressurized CO2? I'm scared of gassing my clown loaches. Loaches. Oh my god, I can't speak. Clown loaches, or is it a waste of time? Well, if you're using pressurized CO2, you could just dial it down so it's a low amount. I mean, it's going to help. Any amount of CO2 will help if it's pressurized CO2. So, yeah, go for it. I mean, I always say start off with the slow flow, like maybe a bubble every 5 seconds or so, just to like get it going, and then maybe you up it to like a bubble every 3 seconds, and a bubble every second, and then like me, I have tanks running at like 20 bubbles a second. Don't do that if you have fish in it. I have no fish in those tanks. That's very dangerous, but yeah. Start off slow. Dude, I have a 10-gallon plant to tank. Which fish would you recommend for me? So if it was a 10-gallon plant to tank, I'm really on like a nano kick. So if it was me, what I would stock it with would either be shrimp, or if it wasn't shrimp, I would do nano fish. So I would do like Ember Tetras, Celeste Pearl Danios, which I have in the 55. What else? There's some Rasboras that are tiny too. I'd go with, tiny ones. Like, one that I've been wanting to keep is Ember Tetra, so that's probably what I would do. Show us the tank behind you with the rocks and 2 lights on it. Well, that tank you guys have already seen on the YouTube channel. If you go and look through my YouTube archive, it was only uploaded a couple weeks ago, maybe like 2 or months ago. Look for the Shell Dweller tank setups, and you'll spot it there. Hello, Patricia. Have you ever done a moss carpet? No, not a full moss carpet. I've had it to the point where moss was growing into a carpet that I was trying to grow, and it just kept like messing it up. So I had to like completely remove the moss, which was a pain in the butt, but eventually got it out. Do you ship to Australia? Unfortunately, I don't. Only US. You can always roll the long plants. Well, the problem is fitting them into shipping boxes. If you're referring to the long pond plants, they're going to be tough. Why do I feel like I need to go south of the border and sell an organ to buy your booze? Well, booze is expensive nowadays. It went down in price because there was so much of it coming into the country, and now it went back up in price because they passed legislation both here in the United States and overseas. From what I've read, I've read it. I haven't found any like hard scientific or like any hard evidence, but this is what I've read several places, that they introduced legislation that's like forbids people from Borneo and Indonesia to export booze without showing that they farmed it. It's like some sort of like certificate that they need to get that will prove, oh, this booze was farmed and not wild collected, and therefore you can export it. And then the US, I believe, also cracked down on it, where now you specifically need to get like a special permit to bring it into the country. From what I read. Don't know if that's true. All I know is I get it from a wholesaler that does all that, so I don't have to worry about that, and I have it, but it's more expensive because it is, one, all the boost that I have, most of it is like all the way converted, like 90% converted to underwater growth. Only like a few select have like immersed leaves left on it. And then also, because of all these new laws having to do with it, it raises the price. So it is a bit more expensive, but I mean, it's not harming the environment, so if you look at it that way, it's better. Unless you want to go and like go on the black market and find some boost that's been wild collected. So, just found you researching planted tanks for a new aquarium I'm setting up. Great channel, keep it up. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it. Nick, if you have any, any questions whatsoever, always, either shoot me an email. If you guys have any video ideas or subjects, things that you want to know, always leave them in the comments or shoot me an email or message on Facebook, Instagram, anything like that. It helps out. Are you drinking dirty tank water? That's what this is. It's dirty tank water. Jen says, be careful with your plants, or be careful with your cats and dogs with house plants. Most are pretty toxic if chewed on. Yes, some are very toxic to animals if they eat them. Luckily, I don't have that problem. Knock on wood. My animals do not tend to eat plants. The cat sometimes nibbles on some of them, but she hasn't messed with any that I know that are toxic to them. And I mean, unless it's like a specific plant, most of them, they're going to be toxic where they're going to like give them an upset stomach, but not enough to kill them. There are certain ones that could be deadly, but they would have to eat some of these regular ones in high quantities to be deadly. So, I mean, the worst case scenario, they get diarrhea, throw up, and that. But I haven't experienced that. So if you do have animals that eat plants, maybe not a good idea, but yeah. How do I know if I have too much or not enough nutrients in my water? Well, a good judge of that is going to be your plants. So your plants are going to tell you. There's actually a chart online. Actually, several charts. If you Google aquarium plant deficiency, aquarium plant deficiencies, boom, and you go to images, or I mean even just under all, but there are several charts that you can see to know if your plants are deficient. Didn't know anything about them at all at the time. Most likely over or underwatered. They did live for a few months though. Yeah, watering is the biggest thing when it comes to like house plants or air plants or anything like that. Like succulents and cacti. I have cactus upstairs. I haven't watered since December. So they went 4 months without being watered, and I still haven't watered them because they haven't shown me that they need water. So, these plants, you gotta keep in mind, when plants are coming from a dry area like the desert, they're used to not getting water for extended amounts of time. So they're evolved to handle it, We also, I forgot to mention this, we have carnivorous plants too now with this recent shipment that I have over here that I need to go through. We have Venus flytraps, and we're going to have some pitcher plants. So those will be up on the website also. They're going to be really cool. At least I think it's pitcher plants. It might be, what are they called? They're not, like, the pitchers I think are or is that the same thing? No, those are the Nepenthes that I'm thinking of. Yeah, no, it might be pitcher plants. So yeah, so I ordered a bunch of stuff. Pond plants, pitcher plants. Yeah. Hey, you got a haircut, looking good, although the hair tied in a bun was pretty cool. Are you a natural redhead? Yeah, so my beard is red, like a reddish brown, but my hair is like a dark black for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, the man bun, well, the man bun hasn't been around for a while. I've been using sunglasses as like a headband to keep my hair back because it was always like falling over and stuff, and it was getting annoying. But I don't have enough time to keep up with it, and it's annoying, so. I noticed that your hair color is different. Well, no, this is actually my natural hair color, and even before it was my natural hair color. I think it just looks different when it's longer. I don't know. So, Justin, you are a Transformer now. Really? Yes. Decepticon. Oh, I like that so much better for the environment. Yeah. I've definitely done a few moss carpets with cut up moss balls and moss. I found Ficedens works best. Yeah, you could actually, Kevin brings up a good point. You could use moss balls, which actually, I mean, they're super easy to grow. So, like, if you just get a couple of them and you break them up and, you know, fill in your carpet like that, those work. But Ficedens also grows really well. Ficedens fontanus, Ficedens novalis, we sell both of those. So, yeah. Those all work pretty good. Adrian says that hair is fire, fresh cut. Thank you. Thank you, appreciate it. My Aqua Clear 50 filter is giving me trouble. Water is barely coming out of it. I have just put the sponge and bio balls in the filter. Well, that's a bit strange. So I actually was experiencing some trouble with my my canister filter, which I'll actually touch on in just a second. But Aqua Clear is giving you trouble. Water is barely coming out of it. I have just put the sponge and bio balls in the filter. Did you just set it up, Famous Jones? Is it like a brand new filter setup? Because if it's brand new, then that could be a problem. Jack in the pulpit. I don't know what that means. How much are you charging for a Anubis Pinto? So yeah, so we got a Anubis Pinto in the it was actually about 2 weeks ago, I think, that video. So anytime you watch our unboxing, it's actually probably about 2 weeks behind. So whatever you're seeing then was recorded like 2 weeks ago, and that's just because we usually get a shipment 3 weeks out of a 4-week month. So there's usually about one week that we don't have any shipment come in. So if I was to just do if I was to just do like every week upload a video having to do with that week's unboxing, there's going to be a week where I don't have anything. So that's a problem, right? So I backlogged a couple videos to have, so that way if I do not have a shipment, you know, in a week, I have an extra video that I could put out. And then like I'll normally try and make sure like, oh well, let me throw in this unboxing and this and this and whatever to make up for it, because YouTube, you want to like stay you know, you want to stay on track for whenever your uploads are. So yeah, so when you're looking at a unboxing video, odds are it was from 2 weeks prior, so those plants could sometimes be out of stock. We are live streaming our unboxings on Instagram when we do them, just so if you guys are curious, you can see them. Let's see, Anubis. We have Anubis Pinto. We have 0 on the site, but I know I held 3 back when we got them. We may have them still. I don't know if they melted back or not. I have to check them. But they're $35 for the pot. Comes with like 2 or 3 pieces though, and normally like if you go on like Facebook or the forums, like they're $25 for 1 piece. So I'm selling them for $35, and you're getting 2 or 3 pieces that have like a decent amount of leaves on them. So it is expensive. It actually costs me like, it's profit wise, there is very little profit to be made on it, but like I couldn't justify saying, oh well, if you want a Anubis Pinto you have to spend $50. Like 35 was reasonable, where I'm not losing money but I'm not making a ton of it. So it's like one of those. I hope you know, the post office doesn't lose the box. I hope it doesn't, you know, get crushed. I hope, you know, it doesn't melt in my tank for whatever reason, because I would say about anywhere between 3 and 5% of all Anubis melts for some reason. It's got like Anubis rot or whatever happens to it. So yeah. So but Anubis Pinto is up on the website. Also, I'm redoing everything on the website. I've learned a lot. I've been Googling a lot of stuff lately to try and figure out just some stuff to help bring in more traffic to the website from outside sources. So I'm revising the way the whole website is designed, how all the descriptions are, how everything's laid out. So if you're looking at the website, there might be changes, you know, coming here or there. We're also going to be starting to put up blog posts, which are stuck. Once I get, I actually have a blog post that's going to be going up about betas. I'll probably try and put it up tonight if I have time. We'll see. So there's that. But yeah, so on the website, you know, like I already showed you guys, I think it was last week, the new website layout, but I've been refining it and moving things around, and I think it's, you know, coming together quite nicely. What about a moss ball on wood? You certainly could. So you could put a moss ball really anywhere. You could stuff it in rock crevices. You could stuff it in wood, like cholla wood. You could like put a bunch along the little notches. Would be cool. I have a 20 long and a Flivel 206, which is for a 45 gallon. Would you recommend getting stem plants or stick to S-repens and hair grass? Do you think the flow would be too much? 206. I have a Flivel 206, or is it 205? What are you doing? I forget what it is on that tank, the rimless tank over there. I believe it is a 206, and that is a 20 gallon. No, I think you could do stem plants. You might just want to do, like, maybe tougher stem plants. So, like, you wouldn't want to do anything fragile. I probably wouldn't recommend, like, rotalas because they're more of a smaller stem and they'll probably snap if it's too much flow. But you can definitely do Ludwigias. You could do Bacopas, you could do Hygrophilias. They can all tolerate the high flow. So it really matters on what kind of plant you're going for. So the Aqua Clear 50 is on a 20 long. I set it up last weekend. I think it was working fine until yesterday. Looks like I have to return to the store. I would say I would take it out of this, like I would pull it off the tank and like take it apart and just make sure like there's nothing that somehow got in there, or maybe you missed like there might be like a plastic piece that you missed that maybe you didn't remove and that's blocking the flow. So I would look at that before you go and return it, because I've had plenty of things where I've ordered it and like I'm like, why isn't this working? And then I'm like, oh, I gotta bring it back to the store, and then like I like just fool around with it for like 10 minutes and I figure out what was going on with it. So yeah. Nepenthes is the scientific name for pitcher plants. Well, there's the, how do you say it? The one that starts with an S. Pitcher plant. Okay, so yeah, so Nepenthes is the one that has like the sacs that like loop off the leaf. I believe the ones that I got in are the Satacarums. Is that how you say it? Sacara? No. Sacariana? Is that it? Yeah. Sarracenia. That's how you say it. Sarracenia. So that's the type of pitcher plant that I'm getting. To me, the pitcher plants are the ones that have the hanging thing with like the little loop, and then they have like the I don't know, the freaking, to me they look like eggplants. Like that's what I want to call them. They're eggplants. So they have that, but these are like the whole leaf is the thing instead. But those I'm getting, and these are all cold tolerant. So what's nice about them, like I want to do a bog garden in the backyard. I just don't know if it's gonna happen this year. One, because by the time I get to it, it might be too late, and I really want to get it established like this month. And I feel that like the summer might be brutal. They might not have established correctly, so I may have to wait. But like, at least inside, maybe I could do something inside, which I actually did do something inside with something, but I don't want to spoil it just yet. But I don't know. So I did something as an experiment. I don't know if I should air the video before I see how the experiment plays out, or if I should, like, I could either do it one of two ways. Either I air the first part of the video and then maybe like do an update video after a month to see what happened, or I wait a month and see what happens and then air the video. I don't know. I was thinking about doing it two different ways. I don't know. Was most likely guessing the type of pitcher plant that you are talking about. Yeah. Are you going to start selling various plants on your website, such as houseplants, etc.? Because that would be cool. Yeah, so we're right now, like, my main goal is pond plants for the next couple of weeks, just because, like I said, May, everybody's going to be setting up their ponds if you're not already. You may be wanting to just do like a tub in your backyard, which is something that I was considering doing, is just getting like a, like a Home Depot style like little tub and just setting that up and having fun with it. Like, to me it's more of like just an experiment, like testing it out. seeing how things are. Maybe you're interested in doing the same thing, so that's why I'm getting all these pond plants. Also, some pond plants can be used in your aquariums, depending on how the setup is. I mean, I don't want to be one to stifle creativity. I think you could do it. I've seen people do it. They grow pond plants in an aquarium effectively. So yeah, so but I do, like I said, we have air plants now. Air plants are a cool plant that isn't an aquarium plant but can be used kind of in conjunction. I was thinking about doing cacti and succulents too, but the problem with those is, you know, we're an aquarium business. Let me rephrase that. We're an aquarium plant business, but I like all plants, not just aquarium plants. So I've been toying around with it, either creating a separate company that does, you know, house plants, or if I just combine it all into one, or if I rebrand into a different name, which I already have a name, but I'm also working on some other creative ideas. But like rebrand into, you know, a new type of thing that just does all plants, not just aquarium plants. But like that would be like our specialty is aquarium plants. Like I think we would probably be one of the only sellers of aquarium plants and house plants that there is. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know everybody out there, but I think, like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody that sells aquarium plants and house plants effectively. I don't know if it could be done. Maybe there's a reason why they don't do it. It might be a really stupid idea. Who knows? But I was thinking cactus and succulents because I really like cactus and succulents. I think a lot of people really like cactus and succulents. And they're just like a cool little thing you could like set up on the side of your aquarium and be like, oh, you know, now I got plants on the outside and plants on the inside and plants all over. And, you know, you could never have too many plants. So, yeah. Looking for plants that work with Carbensis? I'm going to have to look these fish up because I remember what they look like. Okay. Right? Yeah, they're cichlid. I don't know. Are they gotta be, they don't look big. They gotta be plant safe. In a 45 shallow tank, hoping to find stuff for a partial carpet, for some taller plants, for hiding spots, and something to grow on some driftwood. So I'm gonna just double check and make sure that they, yeah, see, I'm reading right now they do like to dig. So I'm gonna suggest, I wasn't sure, some cichlids can be kept with plants, some can't, and it really depends, so I want to make sure. But from the way it reads here is that they like to dig. So that's gonna lead me to, like, you want to get plants that can be attached to driftwood, mainly because then you could tie them to driftwood rocks and you don't have to worry about them ripping them up out of the substrate. What you could do is do lots of Anubis and Java ferns. You could create a really nice scape with just those plants alone if you get a couple of each kind. I mean, I think on our website we maybe have like 15 different varieties of Anubis, so you could get a bunch of different leaf shapes and do a bunch of different, like, what is it? Scale reference, like scaling the leaves back and forth between the front and background to like do a nice scape with them, and then, like, even if they were to rip them up, the Anubis won't be harmed by it, you know, because they're tough plants. So I think stem plants would still do good even with a stronger flow. Maybe some Colorado or Rotala. Yeah, I mean, Rotala could work. It just really depends. If it's too much flow, it may snap the stems. But that whatever's left will still grow. So, what temperature does this ruby, the Val Ruby Red, and the other Val I got from you grow best in? Well, I grow everything anywhere between 72 and 78. So that's what, I mean, I think they like. I've had Val in the cichlid tank, and it didn't do well when it approached 80 or 82 degrees, so I wouldn't recommend above that. But 72 to 78 is like the ideal range for most plants. Okay, Aquatic says, oh no, I missed the whole live stream. Well, we got 10 more minutes left, I'm sorry. Just remember, every Wednesday night at 8 p.m., pretty much, I'll usually, I mean, unless something happened, I usually let you guys know. Yeah. I recently found baby multi in one of my tanks. Nice! We actually, so if you guys are familiar with the shell dweller tank, other than the leak that's happening right now, I hope it's not a leak. I hope it's just like maybe they splashed some water or something happened. But I think it might have been a leak. But either way, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so if you're familiar with it, we had the babies die because of the malfunctioning heater. But I think we got babies back. So I've been seeing a couple. So it's really cool. Do you still plan... Oh, wait, hold on. I like the Rotella Colorado, but I don't know if it's a strong plan for the flow. I mean, Rotellas can handle... It really depends on the flow. You're going to have to test it, because if it's too much, what you're probably going to want to do is put your outflow pipe in a different area of the tank to slow the flow down before it hits the plant. So, like, if you're putting your outflow on your left-hand side of the tank and you want to have your stem plants, and say it's a Rotella, put it on the right-hand side of your tank. So that way, by the time the flow gets to it, it's a little more diminished than like just blowing straight through it kind of thing. Do you still plan on doing species spotlights? Matthew asked. I mean, I'm kind of like piecing them together as I do them. Like I did the how to propagate Anubis, how to plant Anubis. You know, I may do like just one video that encompasses all that information, but I also want to be able to get, like, if somebody's looking like, how do you do this? I want to like have a video that explains that. So yes and no. I actually tomorrow what I might be trying to do is do like a I don't know what should we call it. I don't know. I want to do like a Java Fern comparison video, I guess. But I don't know if I should do like how to care for Java Fern first before I do that, because I have like 5 different types of Java Fern. So I think it'd be really cool to see all the different kinds. But yeah. I haven't heard in a while about those Anubis E-Pack mats. How have those been working out for you? Do you think they're worth the bucks? They are definitely worth the dollar value. For 40 bucks, you get way more than $40 worth of single pieces. Like, if I was to piece that out, the mat, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a mat of Anubis. We also have some of Java Ferns. But if you were to piece out the Anubis mat, you'd probably get like double what you would normally get for $40 worth of single pieces. So it's definitely worth it. And the fact that it's all like, you can just suction cup it to the side of your tank, it's pretty legit. Like, if I was a customer, I'd buy it because it's such a good value. I impulse bought a pot of Anubis Pinto last night and went back to look again and think about adding on, and I got the last one. I was so stoked. Oh, nice, nice. Be Mouty. I thought we sold out, so then I guess you did get the last one. I know we had like 1 or 2 left. I know I kept one for myself too, because I get dibs on everything. Sarcinia, yes, those are awesome. I'm working on a bog garden as well. Definitely would love to see your take on doing it. Yeah, I'm actually doing something kind of like a bog garden that I think a lot of people like, or at least inspire some people. So I did the video. I just don't know if I should wait on it or what I should do with it. I don't know. I have to figure it out. I use airplanes and place them on branches that stick out of the water. Some do flower. Yeah. So, I mean, you're essentially giving it all it wants. It's getting bright light or decent light from your aquarium. You're getting humidity, and that humidity does have minerals in it. So you're doing everything the plant wants. It'll eventually flower. So. Let's see. Have you ever tried spider plants in the aquarium? I haven't tried spider plants, no, not in the aquarium. Did Miss Jinx put the garden in focus? Put the video up. Well, so yes and no. So I was first put on to carnivorous plants last year by Rachel when I went to her house. She was having a aquatic plant meetup. there was like 3 local groups that were all meeting at her house, and I went, and I just got to like firsthand see her bog gardens. I thought it was like awesome, but I was like, I don't have space or stuff to really do that in the backyard yet. Like, and if I do it, I want to do it in ground. I don't want to do it above ground. But then, like, literally a couple weeks after that, I ordered some carnivorous plants and tried them out, and I just killed them all. I underwatered them for sure. I'm like thinking back on it when I got these new ones in, I was like, I definitely underwater those. Let's make sure that that doesn't happen again. And I also don't think that you should be using straight RO water or straight distilled water. I think you should actually have some mineral content to it, but nothing above like 120 TDS. So I was using straight distilled water when I did water them, and I think that's actually like a negative impact for them. So between underwatering and watering with straight RO or straight distilled water probably is the reasons why they didn't make it. So I gave up at the time. I'm like, you know what? I don't have enough time to mess with this. And I pushed them off to the side and, whatever. And then, as, the seasons are warming up, I was doing real, like, research into, like, just aquarium plants and, like, what people are doing. And bog plants came up, and I was like, oh, bog plants are cool. I wonder if I should sell them. And then carnivorous plants, because they're most often found in bogs, came up, and I was like, okay, so let's do carnivorous plants, let's do some pond plants, and let's expand a little bit. I think it's a good idea. It brings in more people, because there might be aquarium hobbyists that's been dying to do a pond and maybe just don't know, or aren't sure of the plants that they could use, so I'll have the plants that they could use for it. Or there might be somebody that's into ponds that's not into aquariums, may venture across my website and become into aquariums, so then they get best of both worlds. Or maybe you have both and you just want to order both. So I figured it makes it easier if I sell both pond and aquarium plants, because then you don't have to pick and pay double the shipping. I just have to make sure that they're not too big, which I have a feeling some are going to be. I'm scared to open the 4-foot long box. I know that it's gonna be like, I asked them too. I was like, if there's anything above 12 inches, please don't send it to me, because I can't ship it. Like, it would just be a nightmare to ship something that's more than that. It's going to be like $30 shipping on, like, a $12 plant. And I'm so worried to open that one long box. So yeah. So, but then Rachel has been doing more videos on the bog garden this year, and it made me even more interested. But not everybody's going to do that level of, like, bog garden. Like, some people don't want to put, like, a 60-gallon tote in their backyard. So what I came up with, it's something that you could do indoors. So that's all I'm going to say for that. I'm hoping that maybe gives you guys some hints on what it might be. But I think it's going to be really cool. I don't know. It looks kind of sad right now. I just finished it last night. And I'm hoping that it does okay. So we'll see. I might do a video on it, and maybe, we'll do an update video after a month or so. Alright, we're at our hour mark here, so I'm going to get through the last bit of the chat real quick, and then, yeah. Hey, buddy, Chef in the house. What's up, Cooper Cichlids? Dave says, hey, Justin, I'm getting some dark green algae on my dwarf water lettuce. No algae anywhere else in the tank. 20 long, Phoenix 24/7 light. All other plants are growing great. Any ideas? Most likely it's cyanobacteria. I've had this happen numerous times to dwarf water lettuce in particular. Either dose or just leave it be. You could break it up with your fingers. The more you, like, disrupt it, it's gonna, so if you disrupt it and you let it float around, it may attach somewhere else. But I find the more you disrupt it, the less it likes that, and then it, like, just eventually, like, will fizzle out. With that said, we actually have, this way. No, this is, like, really difficult to do because it's like a mirrored image. This tank here has some cyano in it, which I'm fighting right now. And I actually haven't dosed anything. I've just been letting the tank do its own thing, because I want it to get really bad, and then if it doesn't go away on its own like it normally does for me, I'm going to treat it. But it's gotten away on its own several times for me. I have a 15-gallon brackish tank. I managed to get Java Fern, Jungle Val, Bacopa, and Dwarf Sedge, and various Anubis plants to grow. Nice! That's awesome. I have Anubis and Java Fern with my Africans. Seems to raise the fry with plants in the tank, in my opinion. Seems best. Seems best to raise fry. Yeah, fry like plants. They're great hiding places. Like we've had fry in some tanks. I won't spoil it, but we've had some fry in some tanks that I didn't think was gonna survive, and they've been doing great. Is boosted Philandrid hard to grow? Just generally requires CO2 or high light? No. It's actually one of the easiest plants to grow. It is the same thing as Anubis, but even better looking. Because Anubis is great, but it's mostly all green unless you get some of the variegated leaves. Boost has reds, blues, purples, yellowy oranges. Like, they have every color that you could think of in Boost. But a lot of them you won't know what they are until they fully convert. So some will say, like I have ones that say brownie red, but like I don't know if they're really that red. I mean, they're more of like a dark green. Maybe there's some hints of red in there. So it's not like if they say red, they're not going to be like a bright red stem plant would be, but they may have hints of red. But it doesn't necessarily like mean that it's definitely going to be red. Are you watching the NFL draft tomorrow? Unfortunately, I am not a big sports fan, so I'm sorry. So I don't really do sports. Brooklyn Hardscape says he's going to be live streaming tomorrow. Nice. Plan to place my first order of plants for my beta sorority soon. Suggestions? You'll definitely want to do stuff that gives you lots of hiding places. It depends on the size of the tank, though, but you may want to do like giant hair grass, vowels, do some stem plants like hygros, ludwigias that like you want them to just like intergrow and create a bunch of different areas for the betas to like chill, and that would probably be great. Rotalas would also be good. Water sprite, Anubis, Java fern, that kind of stuff, but it's also going to depend on your light. Does anyone know if my bearded dragon will eat air plants if I try to put them in his cage? That's a good question. I don't know. I wonder if anybody would know. I stopped keeping carnivorous plants last year. One plant for 4 years. Oh, you had one plant for 4 years, I guess. Just remember that it's okay if you overwinter them because they are swamp plants, or overwater them because they're swamp plants. Yeah, overwatering is good on carnivorous plants. I'm gonna do a whole separate video on it because like now I've done my research, I kind of know like a little more than I did, and they definitely like to be overwatered. Keep them wet, and that's better. Like, don't let them dry out. That's actually really bad unless they're butterworts, which is a form of carnivorous plant that's also a type of succulent in kind of like a weird way. So they don't like to be like, they can be wet, but you don't want to keep them wet. You want to allow them to dry out a little bit. What's up, Waterbox? How do you care for baby multis? Just feed them good quality baby fry food. I use fry like flake food that's ground up really fine. I don't typically feed live foods or anything like that, and they've done fine before. What's up, Frankie? Hey, Jason, I have a 10-gallon tank, and my fish keep dying. Help, I tried everything short of adding water. Are you trolling me? I love the whole concept. You guys are killing my budgets, bog, carnivorous, all of it. Well, you know, it's one of those, I want to be able to offer every plant that I like, and I like cactus, or cacti, I like succulents, I like bog plants, I like carnivorous plants, I like pond plants, I like house plants. So if I can sell all of the things that I like, it means I can have more of them, which is a good thing because I like them, and I also get to supply other people. Alright, so somebody says the bearded dragon may eat them because they eat greens. Yeah, it's very possible. What I would probably do is I would get like an air plant and I would toss maybe like a leaf or two, like peel off a leaf and put it in there and see what he does. If he eats it and like looks like he's enjoying it, then I wouldn't put it in there. I would also double check and make sure it's not toxic to them. I don't think it is, but I would double check. Alright. Well, I think that is all the questions we had here today. Water box is definitely trolling me. Okay, we have a couple other questions. Do you know when you would be getting more Rotella colorata? I'm going to try it with the flow. I may actually have some. I've been neglecting putting stem plants up for the last couple weeks because I've been wanting them to grow out more. Just because we were constantly trimming and selling, and like my stash of stem plants was like dwindled down to nothing. So I was like, let's just let these overgrow first, and then we'll trim them back and sell out of that. So, have you ever kept dwarf crayfish? Nope. Any tips on growing dwarf Sagittaria? Just plant it and leave it be. They do like lots of nutrients. They are heavily root-feeding plants, and that's about it. They just don't continuously move them around, and if you think once you plant it and it melts back a bit, and like say it loses all of its leaves, it may still be alive. Don't like uproot it trying to find it. Just leave it be, and after say about like 2 weeks, if you don't see anything, then it's probably dead. But it may, like, you'd be surprised when a leaf may just like start to plop up out of nowhere. So I'd give it time. But alright, I think that is everything for today. Like I said, make sure you are checking the website Thursday night or Friday for the new bog plants. They will be up. I just have to take photos and descriptions and all that stuff that comes with new products. So much work doing new products. That's a whole separate thing, but it's like the amount of like taking pictures, uploading them, creating a thing, all that. Yeah. Alright guys, I will see you next Wednesday for next Water Change Wednesday, and make sure you're, if you are new here, subscribe, notification bell, like a video, all that good stuff, and I hope you guys have a nice rest of your week.